favorite ACW oh my god moment?
My favorite moment ever in ACW? Man, there's been so many. There's one vision in my head that is definitely my favorite shot. There's video of it that I use a lot. There was a scene on it happened, I believe, June 17th, 2007. It was myself and Skylar Skelly in a barefoot thumbtack match. He did his ring entrance. We had the giant board with the sides filled with thumbtacks. He knelt down in front of it. The spotlight shined on him. You could see so much emotion running through him. And whenever he lifted his head up and looked into the camera, it was the most special thing I've ever seen in my life. Until Mike Dell lost his career versus career match. The emotion in the building on August 8th is Mike Dell gave his heart, his life, everything he had to ACW one last time. No one is going to be able to top that. ACW will never be able to build up two characters like Scott Summers and Mike Dell, because those characters are never going to die. And Mike Dell might have lost a career versus career match. I can guarantee you he isn't gone from the company. He may never wrestle for us again, and honestly, that's probably how it should go. He lost a career versus career match. So I would definitely not ever expect him to be back in the ring. But Mike Dell is still ACW. We love him as much as we always have, and he's still in the company, and he's doing things behind the scene that people won't ever know. Because he cares too much about ACW, and ACW cares too much about him to ever sever ties. In that moment, whenever he was held up on people's shoulder, the ring was filled with everybody, and he had that beer in his hand, holding the heavyweight title. That was my WrestleMania moment. Just all of us, just tears in our eyes. It was so special. Now, that can never be recreated. That was organic. That was the fans, the wrestlers, Mike Dell and Showtime, being so caught up in 4 years of blood, sweat, tears, emotion, and passion, just being given back to everyone. And it was like an atom bomb. It started in the center of the ring, the bomb dropped, and the emotion just spread, and it couldn't be controlled. And everybody within distance was just wrecked with emotion. And that moment is ACW. That moment was the moment we were building for. I've told Mike Dell and Showtime that moment should have been 10 years, 50 years down the road. They should be Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair wrestling that match for one of them to leave. That was a moment the whole company was built towards, and unfortunately it happened sooner than I would have liked, but it didn't make it any less special. And I'll always remember that moment. I'll always remember the way I felt, and looking around, knowing how everyone else felt. And I would kill to not have to have been going through that, because who wants Mike Dell to leave their company? But at the same time, I'll never forget how special it was.
Now, ACW has actually got a wrestling school too.
Yes.
How do people get in touch with you about trying to go to the wrestling school?
They need to email theanarchydojo@gmail.com, and we'll be in touch. The classes are actually going to start November 9th with Masada, and you don't have much time. Jump in, get on the list ASAP. Anarchy Dojo, or theanarchydojo@gmail.com.
Do you have any more information how they can get in touch with ACW if they don't know what ACW is? Any more websites or anything they can get?
Yeah, I always throw out Anarchy Championship Wrestling.com, but I really think if you want to see ACW, you need to show up at Mohawk, Hooligans, in St. Louis, where we're about to run on March 12th. You need to be here live. And you go to the website, you find out where we're at, and then you show up there. It takes one time and you're hooked.
I was hooked when I first showed up.
And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you don't like it, I really would like for someone to sit down and tell me the things they don't like about it.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for ACW now?
Future's bright, man. Future's so bright that I'm going to wear a pair of your shades. Big times. We're going to be the biggest thing in the Midwest, because the LWA, which is Lethal Wrestling Alliance, I think it's lwawrestling.com. You need to check them out. They're really strong, passionate guys. It's ran by guys like Pierre Abernathy, who are great performers, great minds for the business, and slowly but surely we're easing into taking over the world. What's running a wrestling promotion without trying to do a little world domination? So that's my next goal, is just to get out and get more fans and show people that pro wrestling is still strong and it's still alive and it's still great. You just have to find the great stuff. There's a ton of great companies out there. Was it Minoy Toyota versus Daisy A's happened last night? Like, that's awesome, man. I think that was in Baltimore. Like, Chikara is doing really hot stuff right now. Ring of Honor, like, I love Ring of Honor stuff. Like IWM in the South is still, like, putting along, and people can crap on that promotion all they want. But if you can't say that made the biggest stars in wrestling today, you're ridiculous. So as much as people can crap on that, they have to give credit. There's companies out there that are still really strong in giving you professional wrestling. And you just need to find them, and you need to not show up at shows that are really bad. Don't support the bad, and only support the great. And that's what wrestling fans should do, in my opinion. And they need to go out and find wrestling, because wrestling's still strong, and we still love the fans, and I hope the fans still love us. Because I don't just represent ACW, I'm an indie wrestler. I never want to be in WWF, I never want to be in TNA. I could go for being in Ring of Honor maybe, but I never want to be in that stuff. I want to be an independent wrestler for the rest of my life. Or an independent promoter. This is what I want.
I travel around. I travel around a lot.
Yes, you're everywhere.
You get your money's worth when you come to an ACW show. I think
our ticket prices are low too. You can buy one ticket here and you get way more than your money's worth.
You get almost like 3 shows.
That's not being cocky. You get 4 to 5 hours of like great matches. You go to other shows, you know, you pay $10 for general admission. You pay $15 at a crappy show to get 6 matches that are terrible. And that's not being cocky. You know, there are some good shows that you pay a decent amount for and get a decent product. But, you know, cent for cent, penny for penny, I don't think there's anything that can touch us. Low prices, a great product.
Well, I appreciate the time, Darin.
I appreciate
you. I really
you.
do appreciate it. Thank you, sir, for stopping by Silent Guys Corner.
Definitely.
And hopefully I'll get to speak to you again and talk to you about your professional wrestling career.
Now I'm going to go hit the corner of Sesame Street and go hang out with some Snuffleupagus.
If I could, I did have one question. If the Nasty Boys were to move to Eternity,
oh wow, yeah, that's good stuff.
which faction do you think they would fall in line with? And do you think that they would stay together? Or could you see maybe Jerry Sags being
you're actually
and Brian Knobs being part of
you in my
the
head?
Horde? Yeah.
Because that's exactly where I was going with it. I think if there's any one thing in the entire world that can break up the nastiness of Nastyville, it would be the power of Eternia versus Skeletor. And I think that's really what's going to do it, is the He-Man versus Skeletor. I don't know. I definitely see Brian Knobsby in the... he's got the blonde hair. He's going to hang out with He-Man.
You think so?
I think so, I do.
Wow.
That's kind of where we differ.
That's what people don't know.
Jerry Sags. Are you telling me Jerry Sags and Skeletor are not going to rule the world? Come on.
See, I just feel like Jerry Sags, especially with the missing tooth, he's a perfect fit for the Snake Man. King Hiss would recruit him in a heartbeat. Knobs, I could see him going a lot of different ways. Hey, maybe he might go with the Beaky. You know what I'm saying? He might go with Stratos.
That is a good
and
point.
The Higgins, yeah.
He doesn't fly very much, but I could definitely see him hanging out with the Beaky. That's,
you know what?
That's incredible. I'm not gonna lie.
Rock would
yeah, definitely.
Higgins, yeah.
But to be serious, I really, honestly think Brian Knobs. No, I really think that Brian Knobs is truly underrated at picking up rats, so he would probably be part of She-Ra's group.
Rock on, but now keep in mind that is an Etheria, not an Eternia. Now, Hordak and their evil horde, they do go back and forth between Eternia and Etheria, so I will allow them to be brought into this conversation.
True story. I think this kind of sums it up. After getting Castle Grayskull and the Horde, so I actually used to use the toy with the glove, the whole play set? I used to use that to attack.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I used to attack the Nasty Boys and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who has nothing to do with the conversation, and pull them down. So I would say that they're all good guys because they're all getting attacked by the Horde now that I have to think about it.
Yeah, you know what?
If I really have to go in the deep, dark crevices of my mind.
I'm with you. I do think that they would be divided, going off into various factions in Eternia until the onslaught of the Horde, at which point they would all unite in an effort against them. Kind of like the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Of Eternia.
And you just gotta, and you always have to wonder, are they gonna stay live action or are they gonna go cartoon? It throws in a whole different dimension.
That is a good question, because I mean, if they do go to Earth and then they go back to Eternia, who are they going to bring with them? I mean, are we talking about now maybe Wolfie D and JC Ice from PG-13 are in Eternia? And now who do they fall in with?
And I misspoke. I meant to say, are they going to go from being cartoons to being live action? But you know where I'm.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of stumbled upon my words. But
in which case, they could recruit people from Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling Connection.
Exactly.
Okay.
Junkyard Dog, he's in the Horde.
Now, The other question, I'm sorry, I know that
Chains.
you're wrapping this thing up. I do have this question, because it's a serious question. Do you think he would still go by Brian Knobbs, or do you think he would adopt more of an Eternia name like Nasty Orr?
See, I was thinking it would be Nasty Brian Knobbson.
Okay.
Or Knobbser Reed.
Yeah.
It has to be something that's really hard to pronounce, because that's kind of the way Eternia works.
Yeah, the great thing about Eternia is they don't like coming up with names that you can pronounce or gestures that are easy to communicate.
Exactly.
This is the good journey gesture, as you know, which is when you're coming and going, tell someone good journey.
Yeah. So basically, they'd be like, good journey, and the Nasty Boys, Skunkor, would ride off into the evil sunset, I think.
He's called Stinkor, but...
That's what I said. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, good.
What did I say?
I think you said Skunkor.
Skunkor, did I?
Yeah, well...
I have a serious back injury. I'm barely alive.
It's okay, don't worry about it. I think Skunkor is actually Brian Knobbs' nickname backstage, so...
In an unrelated note, I still smell random things that smell like the Mossman character. I do that smell, right?
Yeah, I've got Mossman in my pocket. That's probably what you're
and that smell that came with the toy, because it was one of those, it wasn't scratch sniff, but it just had a scent. That toy has haunted me for my entire life, almost the same way Strawberry Shortcake was. Everybody smells that smell of Strawberry Shortcake and they go, ooh, that's the toy. Same thing with this Mossman, only it was disgusting. But,
Mossman was simply a green beast man with fuzz on it.
But I think we basically got the point across. Robert Evans has disappeared to Eternia. I bid you a good journey, and I wish you well. I'm going to hit Sesame Street, get my Snuffleupagus on, and you have a great time. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir. That was Darin Childs and Robert Evans talking about Masters of the Universe on Side Guys Corner. You only get that here on Side Guys Corner. I appreciate everybody. Side Guys Corner signing off. I'm heading to Denny's now to hang out with Team Sex. Later.